Welcome back. Moving on to Chapter 5 of Business Plans That Work by Jeffrey A. Timmons, Andrew Zacharakis, and Stephen Spinelli. This is a book that I'm reading. Chapter 5 is Company and Product Description, Selling Your Vision. Completing the dispassionate analysis described in Chapter 4 lays the foundation for describing your company and concept. This is the place to be passionate and sell your vision. So we already discussed industry, customer, and competition. Now we're going to try to sell our vision of our company and concept. So use both rational data and emotional appeals that support your story. Exhibit 5.1 lays out the major sections covered in part of the plan. The major sections are company description, product description, competitive advantage, entry strategy, and growth strategy. So, in the first paragraph, identify the company's name, state where it's incorporated, and give a brief overview of the concept of the company. Be clear but succinct in describing the product or service in this introductory paragraph. In following paragraphs, you can go into greater detail. The first paragraph should also highlight what the company has achieved to date, the milestones you have achieved that show progress. Investors and stakeholders view action-oriented entrepreneurs who have accomplished milestones much more favorably. More space should be used to describe the product. Graphic representations can be powerful. Building from the competitive profile matrix in the previous section, highlight how your product fits into the customer value proposition, what is incorporated into your product, and what value add do you deliver to the customer. This section should identify your venture's competitive advantage and clearly and forcefully. Based on your competitive analysis, why is your product better, cheaper, and or faster than what the customers currently have access to? Your advantage may be a function of proprietary technology, patents, distribution, and the like. In fact, the most powerful competitive advantages are derived from a bundle of factors because that makes them more difficult to copy. Firefly claims its uniquely bundled product, Comfort Creature, Comfort Kit Storybook, and Caregiver Manual creates value for caregivers. In fact, Lauren believes that caregivers will pay a premium for her product. Firefly is making a claim that its offering is better than what is out there. Firefly also is using unique distribution channels, hospitals, philanthropic organizations, and institutions to reach the customers. This, coupled with the better product, creates a stronger competitive advantage. Once you delineate your product, a perceptual map of the product and your competitors' products communicates what makes your company special. Pick 2 or 3 of the key attributes identified in the competitor profile matrix and show how your venture differs from the competition. A competitor perceptual map visually illustrates the gaps in the market you expect to fill. We suggest you bullet point the other elements that form the basis of your product or service competitive advantage. As you can see, the business plan leads the reader in a logical progression. The goal is to create an understanding of your vision and make it tangible. Again, we build on previous work, in this case, our clear description of the product to the strategy for introducing that product. Many business plans falter here. Crafting a finely honed wedge to insert a new venture into a marketplace is essential for success. Think about taking a long walk. If you start on the wrong road, the trip can be extended dramatically or you may never reach your destination. Therefore, the goal is to communicate how you enter the industry and survive for the first couple of years while you're building your customer base and refining your business model. Since most new ventures are resource constrained, especially in terms of available capital, it is crucial that the lead entrepreneur establish the most effective way to enter the market. Based on the analysis in the market and customer sections, entrepreneurs need to identify the primary target audience, PTA. Focusing on a particular subset of the overall market niche allows new ventures to utilize scarce resources effectively to reach those customers and prove the viability of the concept. Firefly has started executing its entry strategy. It has outsourced production of the product and completed an initial production run. It has been experimenting with different distribution channels that might reach its PTA. Lauren appears to be leaning toward professional caregivers who will use the product in their work with children and let the children take it home with them. To complete a successful entry, Firefly will need to develop one of the channels fully, say through a philanthropic organization such as YMCA. Moving product through that channel will help Firefly improve its production model by running larger batches and managing shipping better. However, using only one channel in the Firefly case probably would limit the upside potential. Lauren needs to have a vision for growth. The business plan also should sell the entrepreneur's vision for growth because that indicates the true potential for the business. Investors, in particular, need to assess the growth potential because that's what derives their returns. As part of the storytelling, you need to lay out the strategy and resultant scenario that you believe is most likely. Thus, a paragraph or two should be devoted to the firm's growth strategy. If the venture achieves success in its entry strategy, it will generate internal cash flow that can be used to fuel the growth strategy to be attractive enough to get further equity financing at improved valuations. The growth strategy should talk about the secondary target audience and the tertiary target audiences the firm will pursue. Firefly's growth will be driven by entering other distribution channels, especially specialty toy stores. If Firefly is successful in its entry strategy, it will build some recognition that Lauren can use to persuade specialty toy stores to carry her products. Thinking ahead to the next section of the business plan, the marketing section of the business plan must support your entry and growth strategies. So, section 4 of your plan is the company Firefly Toys. This is the company section. Headquartered in New York City, Firefly is a therapeutic toy company dedicated to creating toys for children who are coping with a difficult life challenge or crisis. Examples of challenges arise or crisis include bullying, nightmares, divorces, and illness. So this is what's identifying what the company does and gives it a sense of mission. Whatever the cause, if these feelings are not dealt with in a positive way, a child will begin to develop behavior problems and low self-esteem. Since its founding, Firefly has raised $110,000 in startup capital, developed its first product line consisting of 2 inaugural toys, Jordo and the Comfort Kit, produced 500 products and sold 126 Jordos and 75 Comfort Kits. So highlight some of the key milestones the company has accomplished, communicates an action orientation, and suggests that the business model can work. Based on these results, Firefly is confident of its future growth potential. 4.1. The products. Quote, "My child wasn't willing to consider sleeping alone since her father died, but since we introduced Jordo, she has slept by herself for a whole 2 weeks." Close quote. Open quote. "Jordo sleeps at the end of my bed at night and protects me." Close quote. Child, age 5. Testimonials or quotes add an emotional validation that Firefly has developed a product the customer will buy and use. These testimonials speak to the power of toys to help children heal and communicate with their parents. Firefly has developed a bundled product line that can be sold together or independently. The Comfort Creature is a tactile plush fleece doll designed with special features that help children communicate their feelings. The Comfort Creature comes with a storybook showing the Comfort Creature managing a life crisis, such as death in the family. The Comfort Kit, intended to be sold separately, is a specially designed backpack filled with toys, crafts, games, and additional storybooks featuring the Comfort Creature. The activities in the Comfort Kits are designed to help the child and caregiver connect with and deal with a life crisis. To that end, a caregiver's guide teaches parents and caregivers how to use the Comfort Creature, Comfort Kits, and the storybooks to help the child deal with the situation. In addition, the company is upgrading its website to provide more resources for the caregiver. So that is the product overview, talking through about the competitive advantage and what it is and what it's not. And the Comfort Creatures section, the next section, adds more detail about the product. Comfort Creature provides children with a plush animal with special features that help children express their feelings. Comfort Creature, each paired with a storybook, are plush animals with a special pocket in the belly called a feelings pouch and a secret compartment that opens the back. The feelings pouch houses different pieces of fabric such as soft fleece and scratchy sponge. Children use tactile objects to communicate their moods, and thus a child might touch the soft fleece to communicate the need for soft warmth and security. In addition, the creature's 24-inch tail wraps around the child as a portable hug. The first Comfort Creature is Jordo, And then there's pictures of the product powerfully communicate your concept. Descriptions of the product features drives home the customer value proposition, helping kids deal with trauma. The comfort kits. Comfort kits provide caregivers with toys, crafts, games, and books that help children through a difficult time. Each kit is accompanied by a guidebook for caregivers and specializes in different life challenges, such as divorce, death in family, and nightmares. The guidebook provides caregivers with the tools and to use the toys to help the children work through these life situations. The first comfort kit is designed for children facing serious illness or death. The guidebook is the key component of the Firefly's competitive advantage. The plan might go into more depth on how the guidebook adds value to caregivers. Firefly has established relationships with toy companies that produce the products, including in the kits. Outside relationships indicate the action orientation of Firefly. This shows the company is taking steps to execute its strategy. We currently include Sculpey, a polymer clay made by Polyform, a tone block provided by LP Rhythmics, Chenal stems provided by Fibercraft, and cornstarch-based noodles provided by Magic Noodles. Firefly worked in collaboration with Friends Way, a family grief center, to write The Way of Play, the caregiver guide that provides activities using the above products to help caregivers connect to children, understand what the children feel, and nurture them through a difficult time. Firefly thus provides the expertise needed to use the products to help a child during a difficult time. At the same time, small toy manufacturers have a new distribution channel and application for their products. Firefly's website, www.fireflytoys.com, is intended as a companion to the kits. Soon, the website will include resources for caregivers related to our first issue, serious illness and death, and will provide chats online with a child psychologist to answer questions that caregivers may have about how to help their child or children. The website is intended to add further value to the customer, increasing the bundled nature of the product. Although the website adds to the Firefly competitive advantage, there are cost implications to building and maintaining the website. Firefly's pricing will have to take that into account. It's 4.2, product benefits. Comfort creatures and comfort kits are a product that help children gain relief from the crisis they're facing. An affordable, straightforward solution even an inexperienced caregiver can use to communicate effectively with a child going through a difficult life challenge. A creative way to communicate with children at their own level and in their own time. An integrated system of products that includes both the comforting toys for the child and the important advice for the caregiver. The products and advice specifically address the different educational and therapeutic challenges that both the caregiver and the children are facing. Firefly Toys does more than provide comfort to the child. The company also provides the comfort and peace of mind to the caregivers that they are doing everything they can to support the child through a challenge or crisis. Then there's a competitive map as a figure. Market research should support the dimensions shown on the axis as the key drivers in the purchase decision. In Firefly's case, the company has conducted focus groups with children and caregivers on what attributes they seek. So the dimensions should be key drivers of the purchase decision. That's important, right? So you're making a competitive map. What are your axes? What are the key drivers of the purchase decision? The competitive map visually positions Firefly in segments and highlights its competitive advantages. So on one axis is the tactile comfort of the toy. On the other axis is information for the caregiver. And Firefly does well in both of these, and the other competitors either do well in the comfort of the toy or better in the information for the caregiver, but not both. The competitive map illustrates how the comfort creature and comfort kits integrate the comfort of a plush toy with the information needed to connect to the child. Many products offer tactile comfort but lack directions on how to harness comfort and foster communication. As the figure shows, Firefly will be positioned to provide comfort to the child and expert information to caregivers. All right, section 4.3, entry and growth strategy. Firefly will initially enter the market through hospitals, philanthropic organizations, and schools. After we have established these channels, we will expand to specialty retailers, e-commerce, and catalogs. The company will focus initial marketing efforts in Boston and New York. These cities have cohesive networks of child psychologists and caregivers in which the company has pre-established contacts. The company will target child life centers in New York, Boston area hospitals. These centers help ease children and families through the difficulties of hospital procedures. Initial partnerships are being developed with the child life centers at Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and Tufts Medical Center. Additionally, Firefly is testing the specialty retail channel. The company has established sales relationships with 2 retailers, Edumarket in Natick, Massachusetts, and Liberty House in New York. The company will work with specialty retailers that are more community-oriented and are seen as resources by caregivers. Firefly plans to host special events at the store as a way to build relationships with clients those stores serve. Once the company is firmly established in New York and Boston, Firefly will use a controlled growth strategy to roll out to other geographic areas. Phase 2 will include Chicago and San Francisco because the founder has lived and worked in these cities and can help tap her network to facilitate entry into hospitals, philanthropic organizations, and schools in these cities. So in this section, in the entry and growth section, you saw that Firefly's entry strategy focused on a few channels, and it can test the product and learn from these channels before spending money necessary to go after more channels. These channels help broaden its reach to the PTA, the paying target audience. The geographic entry strategy, this helps the company and the reader understand the initial milestone the company plans to achieve. Limited entry also reduces the needed capital and expense associated with a broader entry, basically reduces the risk because if it fails in the limited entry, the company will refine its strategy before burning additional capital. Although Firefly is focusing on the entry distribution channels at first, it's a good idea to test growth strategy on a limited basis. And then there's geographic growth strategy. Although building on the founder's network increases validity in the idea, an investor might ask who these contacts are, and to add credibility, Firefly should list names and organizational affiliations of these individuals. And finally, we have chapter summary. The industry customer competition section sets the platform. The company and product section is in place to sell your story passionately. Communicate why you believe you have a compelling product. Tell us about its competitive advantage. Present a persuasive entry stage strategy followed by an exciting growth strategy. Whereas the foundation of most houses is cement and is buried underground, the house should show your style. Let your passion for the vision come through. That's the end of chapter 5. I will see you in the next chapter. Thank you for listening. I'm Aditya Mittal, and this is Business Plans That Work.